Welcome to episode 3 of Snapshots. Nat Mast is a super cool filmmaker. I worked with her on her first film, and we've also worked on a lot of cool photo shoots and film projects together. I'm so happy to have you here on the podcast, Nat.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell me about yourself and tell me what you do.
Hi, okay. Well, my name's Nat Mast. I am in the BFTV program. I'm a filmmaker. I want to be a director one day, so I'm just doing little films until, something works out.
Now, you very recently directed your first film.
Yes,
right?
I
Could
did.
you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So I directed a film called Start to Finish. It's my first film. A bigger set, bigger crew. It was. I guess it was a long process going there. So production, coming up with the idea initially. It all worked out in the end, and turned out amazing, and I loved every bit of it. That was my first film. It was really scary at first. I didn't really know, I knew what I was doing because I have classes that teach me how to, make a film, but it's more on when you actually do it, it's different, right? You're actually doing it, you're going ahead and, making the initiative to get a crew, get the actors, and also, money plays a game into it, too, so, food and resources and more. Start to Finish is about basically a couple who is going through a hardship. It's basically the start of their the start of their relationship to the end. That's why it's called Start to Finish. So basically it goes through the memories of the couple and then to the end of their relationship.
So really, how different was learning about directing your film and actually going on the set and being an actor for the first time? What challenges did you face?
Yeah, it's definitely different. Learning about it, it's like baking a cake, where it's you learn all the recipes and then you're actually doing it. It's different when you're actually directing for the first time. You're on set, you're gonna improvise a lot. You're facing a lot of challenges that you didn't really learn about as much. There's gonna be things that are thrown your way that you're kind of gonna. It's scary. It's really scary, and it happens quickly. There's things that happen where it's let's say you lose an actor, you kind of have to improvise and, change a few stuff. So what they don't really teach you is that filmmaking, there's going to be things that happen. You're going to have to improvise. It's not all going to go your way. Half the time there's going to be stuff and shit that happens that you kind of have to, learn and just improvise and just build off of and be like, you know what, that's fine. I'll figure that out. The one thing that actually I advise is just stay confident, stay true to yourself, kind of just keep being very, be optimistic, When something bad happens and everybody's like, oh, I don't really know if this is going to work, be like, okay, you know what? And just find different ways. That's all about filmmaking is finding different ways, finding different things you can do. There's different stuff that you can work around. It's all about improvising and, yeah.
Got it. So tell me a little bit about your role as a director on this film.
The workflow is usually pre-production. So we started with finding the place. That's the big thing. Most people don't really talk about that. That's the hardest thing, in my opinion, is finding the location. Because location is, it's more on where you're gonna film, what kind of film is it, where, say you're filming in a diner, you kind of have to get permission. It's all about getting permission, paying the money too, if they want money for you to film on their location. Location I'd say was the hardest part. Mine was a simple set, it's an apartment, but it's still a lot to I don't personally have an apartment, so I have to ask friends, I have to ask people I know that have apartment. Thankfully people came in clutch. Shout out to Keegan, Nico, and Emma. They opened up their apartment for me, and that really helped a lot, and then we filmed there. Finding a location is definitely the hardest, in my opinion. So we had to find actors. So when we made this film, when I pitched it to my producer, Fernanda, I love her. She's the best. Shout out to her, too. She saved me, basically.
Yeah.
So I came to her with the pitch. She's the producer for this. And I was like, hey, I'm thinking of this. And, here's the thing, I didn't really have that much confidence in the project. I don't really tell people this, but when I came up with the project, I didn't really think I was gonna do it. Not gonna lie, it was just something in the top of my mind where I was like, I'll think about it and whatever. And then I started talking to people about it, and everybody seemed really hype. And that's what I love about filmmaking is that the people in my industry and just people in general are super hype about making a movie and super supportive, and I loved that. Like I love my crew so much is because everybody was so supportive about what I did. And when I came to them, they were like, yeah, you can do it, let's do this. And I was like kind of blown away. I was like, oh wow, okay, let's do this, that's fine, yeah, sure. So I came to my producer and I was like, hey, so I got a pitch, what do you think about this? And she's like, yeah, this works 100%, we'll do it, find a date. And she was quick to do it, and she was like on the dot about it. And that's what you really need to look for in a producer, is someone that's dependable and someone that has total faith in you to do it. And that's really all about being a filmmaker, is having faith that you and your crew can do this. And not many people talk about it. It's really hard to do that, because there's gonna be times where it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna do this, I don't know if like this is the right thing to do. But then you do it, and it's like, wow, I did that, and it feels so amazing once it's done. But yeah, back to the subject of pre-production. Finding the actors, that was definitely hard to do. I had one actor in mind, but it's more on like finding people that first off can act and are good at it. Also, people that are not doing union, so you don't have to pay them, is a little hard too. So you kind of have to, it definitely lessens, the amount of actors that are good to do it for free, that are good. Thankfully, I found 2 amazing actors that were amazing. But yeah, it definitely takes a process. You have to kind of, like, you have to go up to, like, you have to find them, first off, and then you do auditions. So me and Fernanda talked about doing auditions. We sent out a post, and we were like, hey, we're looking for a lead male and a lead woman playing Liv and Dean. And then we just sent that out, hoping to get someone. So Facebook, there's a Facebook group chat with tons of actors. Definitely go to them, in my opinion. They're, like, it's amazing. There's a lot of actors that are working for free and are happy to, be in the film. So we posted there. So when me and Fernanda posted on that Facebook group, they actually didn't let us in at first. So we had to kind of wait. And the thing is, I came to Fernanda, I think, like 5 weeks until we actually started filming. So we started filming sometime, I forget the dates, not gonna lie, that's slipping from me, but yeah, 5 weeks later. So I came to her, and we didn't have much time. I keep doing this to myself. I never really have much time when I come up with this. But yeah, I came up with the film, and it was very last minute. But I had tons of people had faith in me, and that I could do it. It was more on the dates were coming up fast. The actors weren't really. I had the girl actor. She was on another set, so she was easy to find. The male actor was a little harder to find. So yeah, thankfully the Facebook group last minute, I think like 2 weeks before we started filming, opened up their the post. So you have to come up with a post, and like you have to make a post where it's like looking for a male actor, and then like certain things that you're looking for. So it was a male and 20 to 22. So yeah, tons of people started like coming into our like Gmail and then emailing us, and it was like amazing seeing that, and then seeing it come to life, and then seeing people actually read my script. This is one thing people don't really tell you about, is like in auditions, when you see someone read your script, it is the most craziest thing. Like seeing actors like read off your script and stuff. It's kind of crazy.
Do you send them the entire script, or do you send them just a section?
We send them just a section. So there's certain sections where I was talking to my producer, and it's like certain sections where it's very important scenes. So there's one with a bunch of dialogue, so I sent that over. It's honestly on like the director in the film, like the producer, to kind of choose, or the casting directors. Technically, me and Fernanda were the casting directors too. But yeah, you kind of just choose what you want them to say. You can do the full script too, depending on how long the script is. So say it's like 4 pages, sure, you can get them to do that. But it was 10 pages long, so I got them to say like the main focus of the story.
As a director, I'm pretty sure you had to direct both the crew and the actors as well, right? So I feel like as a director, you got to know a lot about cinematography, and you also have to keep an eye on how the actors are acting. Did you find any challenges directing actors for the first time?
It was definitely different. I never really like I've directed films before. This was a huge one, right? So because it was actual actors that want to be actors. So it's different than directing your friends. That's for sure. When you're directing your friends on set, it's kind of like you can kind of tell them anything and be like, "Oh, do this," and then they just they're your friends. So, but when you're directing an actor, they know more what they're doing, so they have more experience and stuff. That was my first time. There was a few moments where I didn't know how to tell them what to do. There was a very emotional scene. They got it amazing, but it's more on me where I was like, how do I tell them what to feel in this scene? How to feel it? And you kind of just feel it out and, let the actors do their thing too. But yeah, like it was a little hard at first. It was kind of like, how do I tell them what emotion to get through this scene? Especially with time crunch too, because, there's always, 12 hours of filming, there's time crunches, you're filming all these scenes too, so it's a lot more harder to kind of do that in a rushing mindset. You kind of have to stay calm during this. That's my biggest advice as a director: stay calm. Stay calm and collected. Don't yell. You can be authoritative, just stay calm though. Drink tons of water too. Try to be healthy. I did not drink tons of water and almost passed out. Not a good thing. But yeah, like you just have to kind of talk to the actors and bring, like, in my opinion, bring up personal events. Like, hey, have you ever, so this story is about a breakup. I usually talk to my actors and was like, hey, have you ever been through a breakup? What was that feeling? What was that anger? And then bring that up. And then they do it just like that. And it's really easy. Yeah, so it depends on who's your actor, who's acted or not. But yeah, like you kind of just talk about feelings and bring out that kind of part. It's definitely different than, directing your crew, because your crew knows what they're doing. And it's not like your actors don't know, but it's more on like, it's emotional versus telling your crew, hey, this is going to be the setup, this is going to be the motion for that setup, and then telling your actors, this is what you're going to say, this is kind of the vibe, and then they go off with it and do their thing.
I think if you look at the way Blair Witch Project was filmed, right?
Okay.
It was shot at a 60,000 budget.
Yeah.
Right? Not a massive budget for a film. The actors, they improvised throughout the entire filming process.
Yeah.
So what the filmmakers did is they had notes for the actors and they would hide it in cans, and the actors would go and take these notes out of the cans, and it would have notes for the actors directing them what to do.
They definitely, I'd say like 50%, not even 50%, 70% is the acting in a way. My opinion at least, like the acting goes such a long way. Like the film can be not terrible, like the at least needs to be like decent looking, but the actors bring it a long way. There's actually this TV show I watched quite recently. It's called Adolescence. Yeah, it's like filmed only in one shot through each episode, and it's the coolest thing ever. And it's not even like the film that's super cool. It's one shot is really sick, but it's the acting. The acting is so raw. And, that's what you really look for in the actors, the raw acting. It definitely depends on what the film's about. Like, sometimes you don't want the raw acting. You kind of want more goofy. You want this. But, like, I'd say, like, the actor goes a long way. Like, and also, like, depending on the film, too, if it's a famous actor, that goes a long way. Promotes the film a lot more, too. But, yeah, like, it depends on the film. It depends. Like, sometimes the cinematography is amazing, but the actor's terrible. That can really bring the film down. So I think, because when you're watching a movie, you pay attention to cinematography and stuff, but you also really pay attention to the movie itself, like the film, the actors, like the actors acting. And if they're really not great, you can kind of like jump out of the film and it's kind of like, what am I watching? So in my opinion, yeah, I think the actors, that brings the film a long way.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about your film. So, what really inspired you to make this story? How did you come up with the story? Because you were the one who wrote this film, right?
Yes.
So, how did you write this film? What made you come up with this story?
Oh, okay. So a lot of people think it's from a personal experience of mine. The couple is breaking up, and there's like a lot of just it's a toxic couple relationship. That actually it's nothing really personal. Like it's not really about anybody specifically. I thought it was when I was like writing. I was like, maybe there's some elements, but it's more about yes, of course, when you're making a film, there's a lot of personal experience through it. Like, you can kind of tell, at least when you're watching a film, you can kind of see, oh yeah, this person directed it. It's a lot of personal experience. There's a lot of, like, you can't really see a film where it's like, there's nothing that's personal from the director. You can kind of tell. It's personal, there's personal experience. I just shook the microphone.
It's all good, it's all good.
Can I start over?
No. Just
Keep going?
Just keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of like there's personal experience. I more have got like inspiration from friends, family. There's been people that I know that have gone out of relationships, and it's not even about a relationship. Like, it's not about like a romantic relationship. It's not just about that. It can be about a friendship relationship, a family relationship. There's been people that have been through that where it's like somebody super close is not close anymore. And it hurts. It's not fun when that happens. So that's kind of what I wanted to show through the film is that love sometimes, like, there's sometimes where it hurts, There's raw emotion with it. There's raw emotion with, like, any relationship. Things happen, between, two people. Whether it's a friendship, a family relationship, or a romantic relationship, things happen, right? And it's uncontrollable. That's kind of why I wanted to show through my film is that there's things that happen where people are close and then they're just not, and that's kind of just life, right? Things happen, and it's nothing against anybody. The main character, Dean, one of the main characters, there's two. There's Liv and then Dean. Dean is kind of, a lot of people think he's an asshole. Yeah, he kind of is, seems like an asshole. But in my opinion, that's not really how I kind of wanted to show it. Of course, I needed an antagonist and a protagonist. Of course, Dean being the villain, I guess, in the story. But how it's kind of, if you really look deep into it, it's nothing against each of the characters. Each of the characters are going through something. How they were so close before and then they're not. Dean kind of put his shell on and is kind of distant, whereas Liv is trying to save whatever, is still there. Both can be in the wrong. Like, Dean shouldn't be very distant, and Liv shouldn't be saving what is not there anymore. That's kind of what I wanted to show through it, is that both sides suck, right? There's no good character when it comes to it. There's no bad character when it comes to it. It's just, that's what it is. That's
just a matter of perspective, right?
Yeah, it's a matter of perspective, 100%. Looking back, like, I love the film. I kind of wish I did more of Dean's perspective. I feel like that'd be really cool. I don't know, maybe there'd be a start to finish part 2. Who knows? But, yeah, like, you can kind of, if you really look into it and see Dean's perspective through the thing and look through what he's feeling, it's kind of like, oh, I kind of see that. Where you're so close with someone, whether it's a family member, anybody, romantic partner, and then you're not, it kind of really messes with someone, and it's kind of just, oh, what is going on here? That's kind of I wanted to show the rawness of how that is.
Did this film change the way you see storytelling and filmmaking? Because you probably entered this with something in mind, and then you got the final output.
Yeah.
Did it match, and did you learn something from this that you would probably do different in your next shoot?
1,000%. Yeah. Like, when I was filming it, I had an idea. Here's the thing. I'm going to bring up the cake theory again, because that's a really cool theory. You kind of make a cake, which is the film. You have, like, the base and the flavor and stuff. When you kind of give that cake out, so I got my crew, my amazing DOP, and, like, everyone else, not everyone else, but, like, all my crew, they kind of put their input in, which I love. if anybody comes to me with their input or anything they want to add onto the story, I am all for it. And you know, I love input other people's ideas because everybody has amazing ideas. I was talking to Jim, my DOP. We were on a call for something, and there's a scene where there's orange juice, right? And I don't know, I wasn't really thinking about it as much, and he brought it up. He was like, "So, what's this orange juice gotta, like, what's the idea behind it?" I'm like, "I have no idea." And so we were kind of just racking focus on what the orange juice is, and he's like, "I have an opinion. Why don't we put the orange juice in another scene too?" And it kind of, the orange juice represents her childhood, her childlike, and it kind of sticks throughout. There's a present scene and a past scene, where the past scene she's drinking orange juice. It kind of represents her childhood and like her love of just like fun stuff. And then throughout the whole film, it kind of still sticks with her. That's the only thing that really sticks with her is the orange juice. And I was like, that's a damn good idea. And I was like, yeah, we're putting that in. So with story making, like storytelling, it definitely, when other people put their opinion in, and you don't have to take it too. There's definitely, you can talk with people, but always as a director, in my opinion, be open to ideas. Some people have some amazing ideas that's like, wow, I didn't even think about that, and they're the most creative people. Because when you're working in a film industry like this, everyone's got a crazy idea where it's like, wow, and some parts of like you just didn't think about it, and it's just amazing. So yeah, in my opinion, always be open to ideas. The story changes like throughout filmmaking. There's gonna be things that happen on set where it's like, you know what, let's put that in. Let's actually change that. Let's do this. So the cake changes a bit, but at the end of the day, it's still the same flavor. You know, it's just with sprinkles and stuff and what people add, which is always my favorite. Like kind of seeing how that cake turned out is, yeah, it changes, but it's good.
So, what is the biggest takeaway from this entire experience of yours?
Oh, definitely be patient. I had a toothache, or not toothache. Okay, so my wisdom teeth came in. One of them got infected, so when I was on set for 2 days, I was in excruciating pain, trying to figure out, okay, do I take this wisdom tooth out? Do I go to the hospital? Anyway, my takeaway was, your crew has got your back. And like when I was going through so much pain, when I was literally like not great, that's in my opinion, my teeth were swollen, my cheeks were up to like balloon size, and I was in terrible pain, and I was like, oh man, I can't do this. My crew had my back. Your crew always has your back, and that's what I love about your like filmmaking, is that they are, when you work with them for how many days, or whoever your crew is, they are like family, and they always have your back. When I was in pain, when I was literally on my assistant director, like leaning on her, shout out to Kara, like, yeah, you guys have my back. Shout out to you, Tanishq, too.
Appreciate
amazing
it, dude.
grip.
Yeah, it really takes a village to make a film,
Of course, yeah.
and I'm so proud of the way you did it,
Thanks,
because I kind of understand your pain, because I have an ulcer that's on my throat right now, and it's making it really painful for me to speak.
Yeah,
But
dude.
I really appreciate directing a film for 2 days straight with that sort of pain is pretty incredible, if you ask me.
Thanks, man. Well, it's incredible. You're speaking. You're doing a podcast right now, dude. This is like, props to you, dude. You're doing awesome.
Hell yeah, I try my best, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
so if someone watched your film 10 years from now, right?
Yeah.
What would you want them to take away from your film?
Oh man, 10 years from now. Well, first off, I hope I make like better films too, better equipment. Definitely. I hope I just keep improving. That's for sure. But if somebody watches it 10 years from now, I feel like what to take away is that more about the story. And there's a lot of like significant events that happen in the story and things that happen. I want them to take away that like it's okay when a relationship ends, because there's things that happen that build you to who you are. You know, it's okay when something ends because something is gonna happen that's, you know, even better. So when a door closes, another one opens. That's the cheesiest thing I've ever said. But
It's so true though.
it's
It's
so
so
true.
true,
Yeah,
right?
it's so
like
true.
everything unfolds, and you gotta trust in the way it unfolds.
Yeah, trust the process. Things happen for a reason. 100%. My mom always says this. She's like, things happen. They happen, they suck, but they happen. And it kind of just builds you as a character. So somebody watching it, don't, yeah, like, you know, there's going to be stuff that's like, oh, because 10 years from now, hopefully I make, you know, better stuff and, like, get into movies and stuff, like, bigger shit. But, yeah, I hope they just take away the story aspect of it, and that, you know, even when I watch it 10 years from now, I hope I take away, like, because I'm still struggling with it. It's like that things happen for a reason. As much as they suck, they happen.
When you go into your film and you make your first film, it's obviously not going to be your best work.
No.
Some people, you might even cringe at your own work.
Oh, yeah,
and you-
100%.
But it is important that you actually go out there and make your first film.
Yeah.
Because even if it's a bad film, it's better than not having anything at all,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You got to go out there and put yourself out there and actually create something. That's just the beauty of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So what do you think a filmmaker should prioritize? What should his mindset be like?
Ooh, patience. 100% patience. Have patience. Trust the process. Definitely when things happen, be stern about what you want. If you want something super specific and, you know, somebody on set like, oh, what if this? And it's like, it is still your film. You have to kind of put your foot down and be like, no, I think I want this. And, you know, it's your film, right? It's your kid. So it's kind of like, you kind of need to put your foot down. So definitely assertiveness, but also like, you know, being open, you know. You have to kind of balance between being assertive and open. You have to be, you know, open to ideas and like, you know what, that's actually not a bad idea. I'll think about that. I always think about like when somebody comes to me on set and is like, hey, I have this idea. I never say no, which is kind of my flaw. Like that's my Achilles heel. I should start saying no to a few things, but I always think like it's good to think about things. So I always am like, yeah, it's a good idea. I will think about that. And I do think about that on set when I'm doing something else. That's always at the back of my mind. I'm like, huh, you know, I remember that what this person said. Actually, let's do that instead. So always be open and just be passionate. Never really give up. There's going to be things that happen on set where it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I doing? And there's going to be tons of things that happen where it's like your kind of career choices are like in the mix and it's like, oh fuck, I cannot I can't do this, and yeah, you're gonna start doubting yourself, but you know, just keep your head up, be like, you know, be optimistic, and you know, just keep going, and things will slowly happen. You know, I always say like, oh, I'll figure that out, because you know, I will figure that out later on. Whether it's good or bad, I will figure that out because life still happens. Things keep going. That was my whole mindset when I was making this film. I was like, oh, I'll figure it out. I will figure that out. And what happens will happen, and we will get around that. So just be, you know, yeah, keep going.
There's so much uncertainty that takes place in film.
Yeah.
Especially when your film is in the pre-production stage, when you have no idea whether your film is going to be made or not.
Yeah.
That in itself should be super stressful to a director, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say to first-time directors who are making the film, who are super tensed and freaking out about pre-production, not knowing how it's going to go, and dealing with that uncertainty of filmmaking? How would you direct them to do that?
I would say have faith. Same as other, like just have faith. Have faith in your crew too. There's a lot of people that do have your back for pre-production, even if it like does not seem like it in the moment. People have your back and they're there for you and they're to back you up. Do your research, 100% for pre-production. Whatever your film is about, do some research on it, and you know, try and just have faith in, you know, that will happen. Just keep your head up high. There's a lot of for pre-production budgeting and stuff and a bunch of like money that comes into play. Just keep your head up high about that kind of stuff and it'll figure itself out. But yeah, pre-production's definitely a bitch. I hate pre-production just because I'm not the best at budgeting, and but that's what you have a producer for. That's what you have other people for. Timing and everything, when people make like the call sheet and everything, it's a lot. It's a lot. But you have people that will talk to you about that, and people that will be like, yeah, it's okay, we got this, and then they in their section make that happen. Have faith in your crew though. They definitely will come through 100%. But just have faith. Have a lot of faith. It'll happen though. Yeah.
Now, I'm directing my first film soon.
Yes, you are.
I wanted to ask you, how do you direct the crew and direct the cast and not come out as an asshole and this rude guy? How do you do that?
How do I do that?
Yeah.
I cry first. I cry in the corner, and then I come up to them and I'm like, okay, let's make this happen. Okay, like, it's hard to. Okay, I don't want to bring up the woman card, but it's hard as a woman to not come off as a bitch sometimes. Like, when you come up to people and you're very stern, very, it's different for guys sometimes. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're just a bitch. I don't know. But, like, you kind of need to take things in a pathway where it's not forceful, in a way. Where you're still telling them, hey, let's do this, let's get this done. I'm still trying to figure that out, too. I'm very, very soft sometimes, and I should kind of stir up a little bit when it comes to directing. I've been told that too, and I'm like, yeah, 100%. I need to be a little bit more not bossy, but stern, and just tell people, hey, let's do this, let's get this done. You kind of need to, in my opinion, what's worked for me so far at least, is when you're talking to people, don't just kind of see them as your crew, see them as your friends, your family. Well, my crew was a bunch of my friends, but like when you're talking to crew members, just see them as friends. Like, how are you doing? How is your day? Kind of not just see them as a work object, which I'm struggling with sometimes, where I'm just like, hey, how's the film doing? And I don't really, talk to them about, hey, how are you doing actually? They're people too, how are you doing? How's your life? You never really know what's going on in their life. So when somebody comes in with something late, it's like, what's going on here? And don't come into it angry. Never come into something angry. Come into it like, what's the problem? Let's fix it straight away. Come into it with stern, like, trying to figure out the problem. It's all about problem solving. You're kind of just coming into it and being like, what's going on here? How can we fix this? How can we move forward? It's like stepping stones. Like, it's everyone's perception too. Some people will probably think, oh, this guy's very bossy. They're just, but nobody really knows until they're in that position, and they're like, oh, I see why they did that. But yeah, just come into everything kind of just not in an anger way. Don't be angry. Come into it of, hey, let's fix this. Let's make a solution of this problem. Instead of be like, what are you doing? What's going on? Woo, and don't go into it stressful. Be very calm and collective, but still sternful. Say, hey, let's fix this problem. We have a problem here. Let's fix it. Yeah, it's worked for me so far.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to be assertive on set.
No, don't be afraid to be assertive on set. People will 100% understand too, especially film people. They're like, yeah, 100%, I understand that. And if you want something, there's also a time limit that comes with it too. Your AD will, they're your first AD, they're doing time and everything. But with time and everything, you have to kind of be sternful of like, hey guys, let's get it going. Let's get this, film wrapped. So yeah, you have to be very sternful, but calm and collective. Be calm and collective, but sternful. If that makes sense. So, Tanishq, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
So, you're doing a film. What is your film about? Can you explain a little bit to me?
Okay, so my film, what it is about basically is the impact of keeping your emotions within and hiding it, and the impact that it has not only on yourself but in the people around you. So usually in life, when we go through a traumatic situation, it's really easy for us as people to just ignore it, right? Just push it in the past. What's in the past is gone. Let's just live in the present, because all we have is the present. And for the longest time in my life, I thought that as long as I stay in the present moment, as long as I ignore all the bad stuff that's happened in the past, and I just live in the present moment, just meditate, right? And go out there, it's gonna solve itself. But what ends up happening is that everything that happens in your past, every traumatic incident that happens in your past, even though it's gone and it's in your past, it's still, when you bury it deep down and you do not treat it, what ends up happening is it affects who you are as a person as you go through life. And you may not see that, but it's gonna come out. What you keep down in the shadows, it's gonna come out. So unless you address what the issue is, you aren't really gonna heal from that. When I was a kid, when I was growing up, I used to constantly try to be the best in everything, and the reason that was because the people around me didn't see my value, so it became an ego thing, right? My entire life was about proving to people that I'm better than them, and these people don't even care, right? They just moved on, but I didn't move on. I was still stuck to the trauma,
Yeah.
and I just grew up trying to prove myself to others, and I would look at people who are doing way better than me, and I would get jealous, and I would push myself more and more and more, and it was really unhealthy for both me and everyone around me.
Yeah.
Right? And what I had to do is I had to realize that, number one, no one is in a competition here, right? Everyone around you can win,
Yeah.
and just cause someone out there wins, that doesn't take away from you.
Yeah.
Right? Just because someone out there achieves or someone out there gets this big client doesn't mean he's taking away a client from you. There's abundance in this world. There's a lot of abundance, and everyone can achieve anything as long as they put in the work. And I had to really heal from everything in my past, and that, it inspired me to make this film.
Yeah.
This film also touches on dementia.
Yeah.
So my grandmother, my great grandmother, she had dementia. She lived to be around 93. And I saw her go through dementia. I saw her forget the people around her, but she was still always so happy though. She was so lively as someone who's 93 years old. She would
dementia.
still, yeah, she would crack a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
And she would sit with my grandfather, and she would go, "I have a son. He's my son."
It's my son? No way. Yeah.
Yeah,
How was
so-
it like writing about that? Like, you know, I know you wrote like your first script was like 50 pages. How was it like putting all of that and then writing about it? Like, what was that like?
See, so before this, I've only been assisting on sets.
Yeah.
Right? I've assisted on Nico's production. I've assisted in your production.
Woo,
I've
start to
even
finish.
I've even assisted in Andrew's production and Harry's production, right? So a bunch of productions, I've been there. And that's how I learned filmmaking. I saw the way you guys worked. I saw what goes in there, how you guys communicate with each other. And what I didn't know is I didn't know how to write a film.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to create a script. What's the format of a script?
Yeah.
So I didn't let that stop me from making my first script.
Yeah.
I went in there and I wrote the story. It took me 2 months to write.
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of research. So I was in the library reading, and then once the library closed, I would go into the learning commons, and I would use the laptops, and I would still research, and it would go on till 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. till security would ask me to leave. Then I would go to sleep and come back to school and do it all over again at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? So it was a lot of work. There are some real like psychology experiments that are going to be portrayed. It's a timepiece, so we're going to go back in the past, we're going to go to the future.
Yeah.
And
Love doing that.
and the biggest thing about this film is it talks about how like anyone can change. At any time in your life, you're not too old to change.
Yeah.
Right? Some people feel like as they grow old, there's no helping them, right? Once you reach a certain age, you feel that you've just lived through so much that nothing can help you.
Yeah.
And you try to fight your battles on your own, and then you realize that the strongest thing that you can do as a person is ask for help. Like that is, it's so hard to go out there and be vulnerable to someone and ask them to help you out and talk about the deepest things that have scarred you. But it's so important that you do that and you deal with these things that are holding you back, because
Yeah.
that's what's gonna really help you evolve as a person.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about movies sometimes. It's just either a getaway or to really face, like, you know, your deepest struggles and stuff, and really thinking about it, like, start to finish, that, you know, some of that was personal, some of it was just things I've seen in life, and it's kind of dealing with that struggle and kind of, like, seeing it first on and then making a film about that is like, wow, that, seeing it, like, in person, straight up, is crazy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
I've
feel
told this to many people who I've had on this podcast, right? It is that if you have a story to tell, then what you have to do is tell that story.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't think anyone would care about the film that I'm making, but and I've never made a film before, right? So there were so many doubts that go
There's-
in my mind
yeah.
as how am I gonna do it?
Yeah.
I'm not a film student, and I've taken up such a complex script that has like 20 people acting in total.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
yeah, and 30 people in the crew. Like, how do you even how do I even do this? Like, there's so much
Yeah,
doubts
totally
that I
feel
have.
that. Yeah. it's a lot. Like,
Yeah.
you know, my crew is pretty big for like a 10-minute film. You're doing like a 30-minute film, which is beyond crazy, but honestly, I have so much faith in you. Like, out of everyone, I think you can do it 100%. It's the crew too, you know, you have people that know what they're doing, and I feel you have to feel confident in them. I feel confident that it'll be amazing. You know, like, it's a hard thing to kind of have faith in something so difficult, because yeah, you don't have experience more on making a film, directing it, but you always got to start somewhere. You know?
Exactly.
You gotta start
Exactly.
somewhere. And everyone has their own times. Like, you know, you see older actors that just are starting out, and it's like, you gotta start somewhere, you know? And it's kind of like super inspiring to see people from any age just starting. You just gotta kind of, and this is what my mom always said. Shout out to mom. uh, she always said, she was like, you gotta pick up the camera and just do it. Just do it. Just start filming. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. Start filming and doing it, because you're gonna figure stuff out along the way. You're gonna learn. So it's not about the film, it's about the learning experience on that. So yeah, Tanishq, like, you've been on tons of sets too, and I think the biggest takeaway from your film is that you're gonna have a really good learning experience from it, and I'm super excited to see it.
Exactly. For me, I don't really like, if my film isn't a success, what's really important is, as a storyteller, as a filmmaker, I want to tell a story.
Yeah.
I want to convey a message,
Yeah.
right? So I have mentally prepared myself that if stuff does come in during production, and if the film doesn't end up being what I expected it to be, I will still embrace the fact that I went out there and I took up this big challenge that I didn't know a lot about,
Yeah.
and I tried my best. And if it succeeds, that's great,
Yeah.
right? And if it didn't, and if it doesn't, I'm still proud of myself for going out there and taking.
Here's the thing, Tanishq, you're still gaining something out of the whole process. You're gaining the knowledge of making your first film, which is totally inspiring, dude. Like, you're, you know, coming out there being like, hey, I want to make this film. And, you know, there's going to be people that are blown away, that are like, oh, you know, I don't know if this is possible.
So many. I think you know, right?
Oh, it was me? Yeah. I was like,
no.
no, I'm kidding. Like, the thing is, nothing is impossible. Like, I always, like, you know, that's a hard stretch. There are things that are impossible. But, you know, if you go into something being like, yeah, this is impossible, you're not going to get it done. You know, you kind of have to go into things and be like, this is possible. This is definitely, it's not going to turn out the way you may imagine it, but it's going to be possible. So, yeah, just, it's super inspiring to know, it's just doing it. You just got to do it. And, you know, there's going to be naysayers, 100%, but that's with our film industry, is that, you know, there's going to be people, but it's not even naysayers, it's people with opinions, their own opinions, because everybody has vastly creative ideas. Some people are super right-minded, where they're like, oh, this is what I think, something simple, and then left-minded, where it's like, that's a terrible, But anyway, some people are like totally different aspects, where it's like, I want something simple, or I want something extravagant, and somebody does very simple films, and I love like the simple films right now. Seeing something of what you're making is tons of visual effects and like SFX. It's crazy. Like, don't get me wrong, I was like, whoa, but it's doable. That's the thing, is like, it's crazy, but you can still do it. You can do it. Yeah. You just have to go in it faithful.
Honestly, like, as long as you have faith in what you're doing, right? External factors, it's not going to stop you from creating what it is that you want to create.
Yeah.
Like, all my life as a creator, right? Like, I see myself as a creator.
Yeah.
I don't confine myself as a photographer or a filmmaker. It's like, I want to create in as many ways as possible. I just want to go out there and create stuff.
Yeah.
And while doing that, right, when you're starting anything new, you're obviously going to doubt it. And there's obviously going to be a lot of failures. And you need to go through those failures, and you need to fight through that doubt and just not get stuck in analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Right? And I really had to learn to do that. And that's basically what I've been doing throughout my life.
Yeah.
So every single failure that I've gone through, it has taught me something very valuable. And that is that if you dwell on the failures, you're never going to move forward. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, it's gonna be super painful. It is gonna be painful. Like,
Yeah, it sucks.
every failure was really painful.
Yeah.
But every failure, it taught me that I can always get back up.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, with every failure comes success right after. Like, there's gonna be down and lows, where it's gonna be like something happens and it's like, oh crap, this sucked. But it's not like you didn't learn anything from it, though. You're with everything ever. Like, honestly, really any filmmaker you kind of talk to is like, when they talk about their first film, or like a film they did like before their recent film, they're gonna be like, yeah, that sucked. Like, no one really is like, yeah, this was good. I'm kind of. There's going to be things where it's like, I can improve. I can do this better. And with every filmmaker, there's gonna be a better movie, better stuff, where they kind of just, it's not even like it was a failure of a movie, too. There's movies that I've seen from my friends that are like, that's the coolest shit I've ever seen. They're gonna be like, yeah, that sucked, I didn't like it as much. And I'm like, why? They're like, because I made a better one, because there's learning experiences. There's always stepping stones. So this film that I just made, I'm super, super proud of it.
Yeah.
It's more of the crew and the behind the scenes of it that I'm so proud of. But I'm gonna look back at it and be like, I could have done so much better as a director. It's like, it's not even critical of yourself. It's more in just like, what can I do that's better? Always have that mindset. What can I do to improve? Because that's humans. We always want to improve. We're always achieving more. We want to kind of improve more, make something better, make something, that relates to people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, make it happen first, and then worry about making it good later.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, don't expect quick success. This is also really important in both film, photography, YouTube, everything, right? It's like, people want quick success. I want quick success. I wanted quick success.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody wants quick success.
Yeah.
But it's, things that come slow come better, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if there is the sense of achievement that you'll get if you really fight and strive for something.
Exactly.
And strive to be better at whatever it is that you build upon your craft.
Yeah,
no way.
100%. It's so cool, because I've looked at films I've done before when I was really, really young, and I'm like, how did I even do that? How did I fucking, how something so tiny, something terrible, I made a tiny dinky movie when I was in high school, and I'm looking at that, and then my newest film, I'm like, that was fucking terrible, holy shit, why did I make that? But that's filmmaking. You kind of just, it's cool because it's so satisfying seeing from where you started to where you're at now, and it's like, wow, you think you didn't really do much. You're not really, and I struggle with this all the time. It's like, I don't think I'm learning. I don't think, what am I taking away? What am I learning from this? And you always have that backset mindset where it's like, I'm not gonna make it anywhere. This is gonna suck. I'm not gonna become a director or filmmaker. I'm not like gonna make it. That's gonna happen. That's gonna come up in your brain, and that's just crap. That's just bull crap. Because then you look at old films and it's like, huh, you know, I actually did, like, I learned, you know? Yeah.
I feel that's a big part of the process is just sitting there and doubting yourself
Yeah.
over and over again consistently.
Yeah.
And I feel the people who can overcome that and still perform anyways, the people who can still create after a night of just constant dread where they
Constant dread.
yeah,
Infected
because
wisdom tooth.
the ulcer, dude.
The ulcer.
It happened at the back of my throat. I could not
Dude,
swallow food.
I'm telling you, dude, take a pill, do something.
No, it's so much better now. It's so much. I'm able to have a conversation with you. 2 days ago, I couldn't speak.
Dude, that's the process, man.
If I had given up and I had said my life is
My
over,
life is
we
over.
wouldn't have this.
We wouldn't have this amazing podcast. So yeah, you just kind of, it's hurdles, but you'll get through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And another fun thing, right, is that let's say you got everything you wanted immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So you made a film and immediately you got the Oscars.
Going straight to the Oscars.
Straight to the Oscars. You didn't even have to put it in a film festival.
Yo,
They
that's
saw it
crazy.
and they say, hey, put that in the Oscars, and they gave you an Oscar, right? You've set your standards so high that you'll want to you'll keep stressing yourself out
Yeah.
to achieve that, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you start slow and you keep failing and you keep building yourself up there,
That's
when
the
you do come up to the point where you get an Oscar, for example, the next $1 million production, simple, you got this, you can do this, because you've been through all those failures, you know what it's like to work through stress, and you know what it's like to doubt yourself. So when the big responsibility comes your way, you got this, you can just go through it.
100%. You learn. Like, it's all a learning experience, right? It's stepping stones. You, like, if my film start to finish made it straight to the Grammys, don't or Oscars. Oh my gosh.
The Grammys.
The Grammys. The Oscars. I would be like, whoa, what the heck? That'd be crazy. I'd be so happy. But it's also like, I wouldn't have dealt with the stepping stones where it's like, the films are gonna get better and better and better. Like, I kind of want to deal with the stepping stones, meet people, and, you know, as it would be cool just, like, going, like, you know, from a tiny film to, like, the Oscars, that would be sick. But you don't really take away. It's all about a learning experience, you know. That's life. You learn to make something, you know, make something better and better and better. But yeah, no, Oscars would be cool though. Not gonna lie.
Start to finish at the Oscars.
Start to finish at the Oscars. I meet Tom Holland for once. Yes, Tom Holland. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's a learning experience. Like, you never. Here's the thing, like, all the famous directors, anybody really that's up there that's famous, or, you know, people that have achieved a lot, like, they started somewhere. They started at the very bottom. Most famous directors, like, they started from the bottom, and then they just kept going and going and going and going. And, I mean, like, if you talk to, like, a director or someone, they're probably like, oh, yeah, that film that I did, that was crap. And that would probably be the best film ever. And be like, why? It's like, because I'm still learning. And even they're still learning. They're making better films. As they come out, it's like, wow, that's actually, I can see that they learn. Like, you kind of look at the old films and the new films, it's like, wow. As a tiny director, you know, those films are sick as fuck. But, you know, when you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, I like having the mindset of, what can I do better? Because that's always the best mindset to have.
Yeah, and speaking about fame, right? I don't think you should chase being famous. Like, that is not the end goal.
That's the end goal. at least for me, is sharing my movies with people. Fame is not something, in my opinion, anybody should chase. Just chase, putting out your movies to people. And honestly, what I want to chase is people seeing my movies and taking away what I kind of wanted to share with them, or their own perspective, or what they can, they decide what the movie is to them. That's what I want to. I want to kind of change people's lives in that way. That's why I got into film, is because it changed my life in a way. Whenever I was really, really sad, I put on a rom-com. Or like when something super big happened to my life, I'd put on like a specific movie where it's like my comfort movie, and it would make me 10 times better. I'd kind of forget about what happened that day. I kind of want to do that to people because that helped me a lot.
Yeah, the ability to have emotions portrayed in your film, right? There are so many deep messages that you can convey in a film that won't really reach an audience through just a communication.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's what makes film really powerful. Mm-hmm. It's at the end of the day, it's not about the Oscars, it's not about the fame, it's about
the film.
It's about the film.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's about what do you want to say? What do you want to convey?
Yeah.
Right? What you say in your film, does that have an impact on the viewer? Does that change the viewer in a way? So once the viewer is done watching your film and he leaves this theater, does he want to be a better person? Does he want to go out there and fight for survival, right? Like Will Smith's film, right? The Pursuit of Happiness. When one of Will Smith's best movies. When I saw The Pursuit of Happiness, right? I was really struggling with money. When I saw the way he had to really struggle, right? In a way, I was seeing myself in the character. I was seeing, because we relate to other human beings. Like human beings, we aren't really that different from one another.
No.
Yeah, we may come from different places, we may have different skin tones, and we may have an accent when we speak, but we aren't really that different from one another, right?
We still have, it's all about the emotion. We still share the same emotion. When you're angry, sad, like, we're still human. And that's what we have in common, is we're all human.
Yeah, exactly. So tell stories that are real, tell stories that are impactful. Even films like Kung Fu Panda, right? when the turtle beats him and he says,
"Oh my gosh,
that's in the past." You live in the present because the present is a gift, right? It's so beautiful, the type of messages that are conveyed in films.
Even like films that you least expected, like kids animation movies.
Oh man,
like best.
My Little Pony. Right?
Oh my!
That's. I was watching it with my sister, right?
Nice, yeah. I was gonna say no. Tanishq, you watched My Little Pony by yourself.
No way!
I can see that.
But I watched it. I watched it with my sister, and I remember I don't think my sister caught on, but,
no, but when you're older, you kind of like.
But when I was watching it, I remember there was this episode, and it was all about like accepting yourself, self-acceptance, right?
Yeah.
It's not how you are on the outside; it's how you are on the inside. And I'm watching this, and I'm like,
damn,
this is a kid show.
Movie, yeah.
This is about
so many
ponies.
hidden stuff. Yeah. Like that's the thing with like kids movies, adults watch with the kids, and it's honestly when you're watching kids movies, like it's kind of addicting just because like there's so many adult hidden messages that you don't notice. Like I remember when I was watching Gravity Falls, big fan of that show. That was a good show. There was like tons of hidden messages for older people too. So honestly, I love films that kind of have like hidden messages that kind of convey to people when you really look at it. You kind of need to watch over and over again, or you go back to that TV show and be like, actually, I didn't see that when I was a kid, or I didn't see that before. I love that about film. I love the hidden messages and all the, everything. The emotion.
Oh man, I remember like there were so many movies that I would watch as a kid, right? And I would think nothing of it. Yeah. And then I would grow up and I would go through all these struggles and all these life experience, and then I would watch the film and it would have a completely different meaning to it. And I would think to myself, I was too young not to understand what was being said.
Yeah.
I had to live life and rewatch it to really understand what the filmmakers were making, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say like if you really like, if a film really inspires you, if you really love a film, like keep watching it, watch it over and over again, right? Because the more you watch it, right, the more you understand stuff about the film. If it's a really good film, there's a lot that you can take away from it.
Yeah.
Let's say The Wolf of Wall Street, for example. When you watch The Wolf of Wall Street, you watch Belfort, right?
Yeah.
John Belfort, the
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street. You see the way greed can consume a person, and you see it in the way he goes from having a happy relationship
Yeah.
as this broke dude who's selling penny stocks
Yeah.
to becoming this multi-millionaire who ends up like ruining his family and
Yeah.
basically ruining his life.
You
And
see that? That's
it's
so cool.
it's so cool. It's a real story. It's a real message, and it's the way like Leonardo DiCaprio plays him in that film. Oh my god, dude!
Oh,
Like,
it's crazy. Have you seen like the behind the scenes where he's like getting into character?
Yes,
he's
I
already
have.
into character, and it's like it's insane how like good of an actor he is, and just like how fast you can like get into character. Being that good of an actor, I guess like you can get into character super fast. But yeah, I never. When watching Wolf of Wall Street, there's like two sides, which I always find is really interesting. When you're watching it, I watched it with my brother, and he's always like, "Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio," kind of like getting rich, and like that's like some guys' perspective.
man, I wanted to be that dude.
Yeah,
I
dude,
wanted to
everyone,
be him.
dude, everyone wants to be that dude.
Right? I wanna throw lobsters at people from a yard, dude.
He's super rich. Yeah.
You
The
have no
coolest thing.
idea. Like I've seen The Wolf of Wall Street like I think 6 times
No,
now.
oh my god. Yeah,
I was
great
like,
movie, dude.
Man, top
Like,
5.
Here's the thing, when you're watching it, like, on another perspective, like, there's two perspectives, where it's like, wow, that guy's got a really sad life. Where it's like, he's got all the money, but it's just sad. He's fucking, like, snorting coke every day. He's, like, high every day. Which, from another perspective, like, there's two sides of me where it's like, that's fucking awesome. Where another
Yeah.
side of me is like, that's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Where
Yeah.
he's just, you know, he was kind of just happy selling pennies and stuff. And where it's, yeah, money changes you.
Yeah.
But the concept, like, if you watch it more than once, it's like, huh, I didn't really see that.
Yeah.
Which I love that about film.
And Breaking Bad has a similar storyline, a similar concept, right?
Yeah.
We have this professor who has cancer, and he ends up selling meth, coke, right? No,
Oh,
what
meth.
was it?
I think it was meth,
It was
yeah,
meth.
coke.
Yeah, he ends up selling like blue meth.
Yeah.
And he ends up being this rich drug lord, right? So the reason he got into it was because he wanted to provide for his family before he died. It was noble. He wanted to save up the money, and he wanted to give his kid who's disabled and his family a good life, because at the moment they were struggling with money, and he was a professor and wasn't making enough, right? And he had his brother Hank, and Hank was this DEA agent, and he was successful, and in his eyes there was this complex, right? So he wasn't as successful as his brother. So when he turns into Heisenberg, he's basically turning into this character who now has control over what's happening in his life.
Yeah.
People are starting to fear him.
Yeah.
People are starting to respect him. He got in there for the money, but then at a point it's no longer about the money. He just wants more and more and more, right? He gets a safe full of money. He gets so much money that he doesn't know what to do with the money.
Yeah.
And you realize from watching that film that it's no longer about the money. It's about who is he becoming as a character.
Yeah.
Who is Heisenberg?
Yeah.
He is this man who was once a failure, who turned into a man that everyone feared and people respected, and he had control over his life. He got this sense of power, and the reason he never quit, because he could have easily quit, and at the end of the film, everything falls apart.
Yeah.
Everything falls apart. He ends up turning himself in. His kid hates him. His wife hates him.
Yeah.
He started for a noble cause. He
And then he
started
ended
because,
Yeah.
he started because he wanted to provide, and he ended with catastrophe, right?
Yeah.
What does Breaking Bad teach us? Jealousy kills, right? Jealousy, it is dangerous.
Yeah.
You should know when to stop.
Yeah.
And I saw that message. It was loud and clear.
Yeah.
We as people, we can relate in our lives. We can take from Breaking Bad and we can say, okay, I really want to make rich. I really want to make money, but I cannot make my life purely about money. I cannot make money the biggest factor in my life, and cause that will ruin you. You think it's what will give you happiness,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, too much of anything is bad, and you should really learn how to balance and be an all-rounded human being. What a powerful message, man.
Yeah.
What a
See, that's the thing I love
great.
about movies or TV shows or really any film is that you can take so much from it. Like, and the thing is, like, some films I've watched, I'm like I see it behind the scenes and the director talking about it. It's like, oh, I had like a whole different perspective of that. Like, when somebody brings out a film, you can have so many perceptions and perspectives on what the film is about. Like, when I watched Breaking Bad, I was like, oh, this guy's just a dick. But there's so much more meaningful stuff behind that. And when you look into it, it's like different perspectives. And I also love films is because you could talk about it for hours and hours.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the
man.
most core memories I have is just talking about like hours about what the film's about. Like, I remember watching Oppenheimer with my family and in like IMAX or something. And I was talking hours about the film, and it wasn't even like it was about the black and white part, and it was just like, why'd they do that? What was this? And like we all had like different theories, and it's so cool to see that all together. And that's where I was like, man, this is why I love film, is because so many people can talk for hours about something that somebody made, and that person that made that probably had a different perception too. But I always, when I make a film, I always have an open mind of, I have this perception, but when I bring this out to the world, I hope other people will bring their own perception into the film too.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like anytime we make something, like when you made your film, I'm pretty sure what you had in mind was it's not about how beautiful my frame looks. It's not about what cool effects and lighting I can use. It's about if someone's going through a breakup,
Yeah.
what can they learn from my film that's going to help them go through that hard time,
Yeah.
right?
The story is the biggest part of film. Like,
Ah,
that
man.
is like the biggest thing. It's not all about like camera and stuff. And yeah, it's about the actors if they can portray the story. And yes, it's about cinematography and all that stuff. But the story, that's what makes it the film. Without the story, what is it? You have to kind of, as a filmmaker, as a director, you have to know the story. I wrote the script, so I knew the story back and front. But, as a director, I'm not strong at writing and stuff, so I'll get somebody else to write something for me. When you are given a script, you have to kind of figure out, what are they trying to convey? Talk to the writer. What were you trying to convey? What do you want with the story? What do you want me to, show for you? You kind of have to know it back and front. That's why most directors wrote their story, because they know it back and front. They know what they're trying to convey with it. Some have a specific mindset towards like what they want to show others, but nothing's really set in stone. That's what I love about stories, is you can have so many perceptions or perspectives of what that film's about, what they're trying to convey, what you think they're trying to convey. And it's the coolest thing.
Yeah, and you're also not confined by time either. If you want to make a
No, yeah.
timepiece, you go back in time.
Go
if
back
you
in
wanna
time,
if
yeah.
you wanna create this little blue alien named Stitch, who
I
runs
love
around
Lilo
with
Stitch.
you and sees this cute little puppy that's riding a surfboard and wants to
Dude.
surf. Its name is Dale, by the way.
The
Dale.
puppy's name's Dale?
Yeah.
That's the best name ever.
Dale,
Dale.
the surfing bulldog.
That's awesome.
Oh man, I love him so much. When I remember he popped up on my Instagram,
Dale.
and the reason I watched Leo and Stitch
Is because of the dog?
is because I wanted to see
Bro.
Dale.
Oh my dude.
he,
I love that.
he had like I don't know 30 seconds of screen time.
And you're just like, I'm gonna watch that now.
Oh, the
I'm
best-
gonna watch Dale. Not even
Oh.
Lilo and Stitch, just Dale.
Dale, yeah. 30 seconds. Oh man, I loved it so much.
You know what's cool is that with animals too on set, you never really notice like how much like stuff goes in. Like you've seen like insects on like movies and stuff.
Yes.
Those all have trainers and stuff. They're not
Insects?
Just, yeah, insects like animals. They have their own trainers.
Wait, how does that work? How do people train insects for films?
Oh, you gotta talk to people who train insects, but probably takes like there's specific people for that. You know, there's people that probably do that for their work.
This is just blowing my
Yeah, there's
mind.
so much-
They train insects?
Yeah,
I always thought
think-
the insects were VFX.
Sometimes they're not. Like it depends on what the director wants. What looks real enough. What they want.
See, I know they used to train bumblebees.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
remember,
insects, like butterflies, not butterflies, birds. They train all those animals and stuff, and you don't really notice like when you're watching a film. It's like, they had a specific person for that, which is really cool. Like in the credits, I never really paid attention to the credits. When you like leave the theater when the credits are rolling, when I watch, I kind of stay to the end.
Exactly.
Because
good
you
thing.
see who did it, how much effort went into it, sometimes I do leave when it's late and stuff, but I don't know, I suggest staying to the end, watching the credits. That's like those people worked 10 times as hard too
Yes.
to make that film a thing, and they may not have the biggest role as a director, but they still had a role. If they weren't there, that film would not have been a thing. So everyone has a specific role and everyone's important. If you're on a film set and you think you're not important, you are important. You're there for a reason. And my suggestion as like a PA or someone like having a tiny role, do things. Keep on doing things. Ask the person that's above you, like, hey, do you want me to get you coffee? What do you want? What would you like from me? You are as significant as the next person beside you. You are important on that film set. You always have a role, right? Yeah.
Nat, this is such a good point that you brought up, that everyone has an important role on a film set. Oh man, what a point, dude.
Everyone's got a role.
Everyone's got a role, right?
Yeah.
Like me personally, when people call me onto set as a BTS photographer,
Still a role.
it's still a role. Like
Yeah.
I would think to myself, like, why aren't people calling me to be a gaffer? Why aren't people calling me to be an AD? Why is it always
Here's the
BTS
thing with
photographer? And I realized that it is an honor to be on a film set.
100%.
And it's such an honor. Like me, like anytime I am on a film set, right? I'm just like so happy to be there and be part of it, right? Because I know that even if my job is just taking pictures, it's not like I'm only going to take pictures. Like I was assisting with lighting on your set
Yeah.
for sometimes.
Yeah.
I was the grip,
Sometimes-
I was the PA, and you only know that when you go to set,
Yeah.
you learn so much just by being on a film set. Like you don't have to be a major person on the
Yeah.
crew. You just have to be on the set, and you're going to learn so much.
Here's the thing, Tanishq. With that mindset, keep going with that mindset. That is like the best mindset to have. Is I'm happy to be here. That like on a film set, be happy that you're there. Cause I love hearing that. Like as a director, any filmmaker, I love hearing that somebody's happy to be on set. Because as minimal as a role that you have, I just cracked like every bone in my body. Sorry. Rewriting that. But every like role, any role that you have, whether it's a behind the scenes person, sometimes you get promoted too when you're on set. Like you were behind the scenes and I was like, okay, I need a grip.
Yeah, exactly. I
What's
became a
up?
grip. Yeah.
Here's the thing with that too is people get you for what they know you're good at. But that's a time where you can show them, hey, I'm good at this too.
Yeah.
It's all about kind of promoting yourself in a way. That's the industry, is you're kind of like showing, hey, I can do this, I can do that. That's why I've gone into DOPing too, like cinematography. I've done a few films. I did Claudia's film. I was a cinematographer for that. And kind of showing people like, hey, I can do this, I can do that. You're kind of showing other people you can do other stuff. You're in the photography program, so people are like, BTS straight away. You're great at like grip and
Yeah,
gaffing.
yeah.
Like I've seen at
Yeah,
least.
have you seen Reaping the Whirlwind?
Yeah, and I've seen that, and off of seeing that, I was like, okay, Tanishq's gonna be grip too. Just off of seeing that, because you don't really know it until you see it, right? And then when you're given a heads up, hey, this guy can actually do really good at gripping, really good at gaffing, you're kind of like, okay, I'll keep that in mind. And that's always in my mind. And then like I was like, yeah, what the heck, this guy can do that.
And also, just by being on set, like this is for anyone who wants to get into filmmaking, for anyone who's a beginner out there and doesn't know what to do, try to get yourself on set, even if it's the most like tiny role out there. Try to be on set, because when you are on set, the connections that you make on that set, they are your circle in a way.
Oh yeah.
Right, like what we do as photographers and filmmakers, right, is like we work with each other. Like one day you're the director, and then for another film you're a producer, and then for another film maybe you're a gaffer or a grip or a DOP.
Yeah.
And someone else who was an AD in your film, they could be directing their own film.
Exactly.
Or they could be producing another person's film. And we all work with each other. And the only way you can actually get those connections is by being on set. So if you tell yourself, I will not be on set unless I'm a AD or unless I'm a producer or a director, like it's not gonna do you any good.
Yeah.
You need to be down to just being on set, and a big part of that is knowing that regardless of what you do on set, even if you are the person who holds the door shut, I wonder who.
You were great at holding the door shut at one point. It was amazing.
No, see,
made
like,
a big difference.
Yeah, like that. Even though, like, from an outsider, they look at you and they say, all you did was just stay behind the door and hold the door shut.
But that made a huge difference.
That
though.
made
That's
such
the
a big
thing.
difference,
like,
right?
for the lights, there was times where the door was open where you weren't there because you were BTS, you were doing something, and I noticed that. And it's a huge difference between a door closed and a door open. Maybe small, made a huge difference on the film, though. And I used, well, I hope we're probably going to use the clip where the door is shut, just because lighting and stuff. Yeah, everything makes a huge impact. And I've heard, like, I was talking with someone, I forget who, honestly. It was a minimal conversation. And I remember they said something, not to out them, it's perfectly reasonable, but they were like, yeah, I won't be on set unless I get paid. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to get paid, and they were like a couple, I think, years up. I think they're graduated now, but I remember hearing that and I was like, yeah, fair enough. You know, you've been on tons of sets. It's more on, I don't agree with that now, more on because it's the offer, be on that set. You're gonna have tons of experience too. It's that experience. If you're jam-packed with stuff and like it's either money or not money, choose the money.
Yeah.
Because it helps.
Yeah, like living is expensive.
Living is expensive.
At the end of the day, if you want to make good films, you should still be able to afford your rent
You're
and
renting.
afford food and all of that, right? So
Yeah.
I completely get when someone says, hey, I want to be on set and I want to get paid. And it's a reasonable
100%.
ask. But if you don't have anything, right, if you don't have like a solid body of work, then ask yourself, just for the money, like, are you losing something way more valuable, which is work?
What am I losing from being on set? That's the thing I'm like, because there's been times where it's like work or on set. I would choose work. Sometimes when I was like not that many hours on work, like 2 hours or so, that's not a thing. But like, I would say, hey, no, I'm on set that day. And then it's more an experience. And I met so many people. People are so very nice on set, especially student sets. I've never been on a union set. I've never been on a bigger set. But people are super nice. They're like stressed, of course, because they're doing stuff. But, you know, once you talk with them at lunch break, get to know them, they were like, yeah, how can I help you? How can I do this and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did I become a photographer? Right? It's pretty similar. Well, I just went to my nationals. I used to be an athlete, a kickboxing athlete, and I just represented India and Russia, and I won a bronze in Russia. And what I saw around there is I saw beautiful photography. I saw beautiful sports photography. Now, kickboxing in India, they had like photographers covering their matches, but they didn't have someone who was dedicated to the sport of kickboxing. Now, me being a photographer, taking up a diploma in photography, I knew how effective framing works and how everything else can be done. And I decided that for my next national tournament, which happened in the state of West Bengal, I was going to go there and I was going to photograph the entire match, and I was not going to have any need. I wasn't going to ask them for money. I wasn't going to ask them for anything. And just going to do it for the experience of covering a match. And I went there and I took these pictures all day. So I had fought. So once I finished my fight, I took down my gears, I took down my headgear, I was all beaten up, and I took rest for an hour. But then I picked up my camera and I went there and I started photographing these matches. And I never expected anything. I never expected money in return, nothing. So I just did the best that I can. I created the best work that I can. And I took my pictures and I gave it to the federation. And the federation, they were so impressed with the shots that I had taken that they offered me a job to be their official photographer. And I was the first photographer to start photographing kickboxing in India, right? Which was pretty big. So what ended up happening is anytime there was a nationals, like north, south, east, west, I would get free accommodation, I would get free travel, and I would get paid to photograph the matches for a week. And that's how I built my career in India as a photographer, is by taking up this opportunity, by going in there and doing something without expecting the money. I'm doing it for my experience, and that paid off. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because if you're a filmmaker, if you're a photographer, if you're a creative, like sometimes, right, the biggest like opportunities can come, but you need to be willing to go in there and work for free. You need to be willing to, in a way, collaborate and not expect anything in return, but still put in the best work that you can. It is so important, and it can lead to some great connections. Like as a photographer, before I got my first paid work, I shot for 3 years without getting paid. Anything that came up, collaboration. If you're a small model, I'd collaborate with you. If you have this event coming up, I'll collaborate with you. This is match coming up, I'll shoot. It's all about collaboration. I did not see money for like 2 years straight. But by collaborating, I built such a strong body of work that if anyone came up to me and said, hey, I need a photographer for my photo shoot, they see my work immediately. There you go. Be my photographer.
If you have that work, if you have that posted, and you have like an amazing Instagram account, you have like a gallery of stuff, and you know, when you see that, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so sick. And you just gotta like pick up a camera and just do it. Just do it, and that will get you so far. Even if it's for free, even if like, you know, it's on your phone too, just pick up your phone, your camera, anything. This is what my mom, she was like, I didn't have a camera at the time, so I just picked up my phone and did little movies with my brother or my friends. It's probably floating around somewhere. I did like a little movie with my friends, my high school friends, and, you know, just edited it quickly on like iMovie or something. And, you know, doing that, the experience and having that in mind, I was like, this is really cool. And like, you learn a lot. You know, it's the experience that is like the best thing ever.
Seriously, like me personally, right? I set a really high standard for myself. Like, at least for my work, photography, right? I strive to achieve mastery in the art of photography. And what that looks like, right, is it looks like the work will not be shown to the public unless it meets a certain standard of excellence, is the way I see it. Now, it's not the best work out there, but I set myself up to a standard where I'm pushing myself to always improve, always push myself, challenge myself. I remember like there was this hardcore show, and people were literally like in a mosh pit, like swinging at each other. And I had to be in the mosh pit with my camera and my flash and go up to them while they're swinging and fire a flash at them to get the shot. And I was putting myself in that line of action to get the shot. I remember like the cable of the mic basically hit the lens of my camera at one point.
Gosh.
That created such a cool shot. Like, I'm trying to push my boundaries in what I can do in photography. And it's not a quick process, right? It requires like going out there and finding yourself in different shooting scenarios. And I feel as a filmmaker as well, right? If you really want to improve as a filmmaker, if you really want to achieve big things as a filmmaker, it's like try to challenge yourself and push yourself. Is there a genre that's really, really challenging try to make a film in the genre. Let it be good, let
Yeah.
it be bad. But then, like, try to achieve mastery in whatever it is that you are trying to achieve. Mastery in your craft, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, I feel like never be satisfied.
Yeah.
Never be satisfied. The day you say, I am the best, this is the best, there's no room for improvement.
Yeah.
So always like try to push yourself, try to keep raising your standards, and even if you fail, that's all right. Even
Yeah.
if it's bad, that's fine. Always try to be better. Self improvement.
Yeah.
It stems from the belief that you can be better, and then it goes into whatever aspect it is that you're doing. As long as your internal self is strong and confident, and you know
course,
deep
yeah.
within that you can achieve anything, like nothing, no like hurdle in the outside world can stop you from achieving what it is that you want to achieve.
Yeah, like going back to you on like that mosh pit, sometimes like you have to, it's the most uncomfortable thing. Here's like, I always say this, and I want to get this tatted on me. I'm kidding, I won't. Sorry, mom and dad. But you have to be uncomfortable to be comfortable. And that's like the biggest thing that I always go by is, and that kind of means you have to do something that is so uncomfortable that you get comfortable with it later on. Like, let's say go into a mosh pit and, you know, getting swung at. Or going to Toronto and just, like, it's uncomfortable sometimes. Like, I have a lot of social anxiety. I have the most anxiety ever. Some people can't notice that.
Yeah, I couldn't notice
Yeah.
that. I'm like, that's so cool. Look at how fun she is, right?
Thanks,
I'm
dude.
like, if I wanted someone cool and fun and like super cool on my set, like I would go for Nat.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause,
Thanks, Tanishq.
yeah, like if you told me you had social anxiety, I'd be like, nah,
No,
you're just messing
what?
with me, dude. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I have the worst social anxiety and anxiety in general. But you kind of just have to roll with the punches. Keep on doing something that's so out of your comfort zone that later on it becomes super comfortable. Like I've done things like there was one thing, I have a lot of social anxiety, so I go to Toronto with my camera, and you know, I always like paid attention to people staring at me weirdly, like, oh, what's this girl doing with her camera? And that's what I always thought, and I'm like, people actually don't give a shit what anybody does.
Exactly. That
Like,
was my biggest learning. Like in my life, if you take 23 years of my life,
yeah.
oh damn, 24.
Bro, wait, I thought you were 25. Oh.
No,
Oh.
no, I'm not that old. Anyway, if 24 years, all the failures, all the like bullshit I went through,
Yeah.
if it's one thing that I take away, right, it is that people don't care as much as you care, and as much as
People
you
don't.
think people care,
That's
they
the
don't.
thing. People don't give a shit. They don't give a flying crap. Like,
They don't.
you can do, literally, you've seen some, like, and also when something embarrassing happens, I always think about this, when something happens, it's sometimes so minimal that it was so big in the moment. Like, okay, I'll tell my work story, actually. So, this will make sense later on, but, I work at a golf course, and I crashed the picker.
You
I
did
crashed the
what?
I crashed the golf cart into like a shelf or something, and that was fucking terrible. That scared the crap out of me. I hated every moment of it, and I was like, I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna get fired. I didn't. I still work there. Pretty great place. Love it. But yeah, I went, like, I was forward, and I was like, hey, so I crashed this, my bad. And it was so huge, to me at least, in that week. But then people kind of just started to forget about it. And everything that seems so big in the moment, of course, like, now it's funny to me, because it's later on. You kind of look back and be like, huh, I did that. That was shitty. I will never do that again. But that happened.
Yeah, now you can talk about it, and now you can laugh about it, right?
On the podcast, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, like, things happen, and you kind of, it seems big, but just keep in mind that that big thing won't be so big for so long. It's gonna move on. The world keeps going. Something bigger will happen. The next bigger thing will happen. Unless it's like a war. But like, I don't know, World War III or something. But yeah, nothing's super, super big.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if people don't like what you do, and if people don't like who you are, then they are just a passing cloud in the journey
just
of
a
life.
passing
Just
cloud.
a passing cloud.
Exactly.
Ooh, that was a bar.
That was a
dude.
mode.
That was a
That
bar.
was
dude.
crazy. Here's, Bro, I keep on bringing up what my parents say, but they say a lot of good shit.
That's really valuable, bro.
Right?
I'm like,
Yeah.
super happy for you, dude.
Thanks, man. My mom always says, like, there's gonna be people that love the rain when you love the sunshine. So not everyone's gonna agree with you.
Okay.
But yeah, like there's gonna be people disagreeing with you and not agreeing.
Okay.
And that's just what they believe.
This was an amazing episode. Thank you so much for being here. I
Thank you for
really
having me.
appreciate it, and I really appreciate your time. You shared so much value with us today.
Thanks so much.
And I really learned a lot from you. I'm pretty sure the viewers did as well. Any last words you'd like to say to the viewers before we conclude?
Watch start to finish, coming this fall.
Coming this fall.
Coming this fall.
Okay,
And,
guys.
yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I had so much fun making it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And a lot more good videos coming. This was a podcast that was produced by Sheridan Life Radio.
Woo!